Hello bots and bits fans, welcome back to another episode of Toon. I should probably just change the name of the channel to that now. It seems like everything I put out is legends. Now today we are taking a look at the NewAge PSI Commandos Abaddon Burial Asmodus. Something like that. And I bought these guys from ShowZStore.com. Last time I checked, they had plenty in stock. They've also got some of the other colors as well. For me, at least, their service has always been top notch. So if you're interested, head over there and take a look. Now, NewAge have 4 different color variations of this set. They have the cartoon version, which is what I've got, and I'm totally going to pretend that I intended to buy this color, and I didn't actually intend to buy the much shinier toy color. They also have a clear plastic variant, and they've just announced their sort of purple Energon clear plastic variant as well. Even though they say legends, these are incredibly tiny, so we'll get onto a size comparison pretty quick. Now, first up, we get some retro-styled instructions. Also in the box, as you can see, we get the 3 bugs and their accessories. Now, the accessories, they're a little bit lacking. We get a gun each and an Energon cube each. One of my Energon cubes has a little bit of a blemish, which looks a little bit gross. Apart from that, the details on the accessories are perfect. There are no mold lines. Oh, well, one mold line there. So no sprue marks, no errors, nothing. It's all looking pretty good. And all 3 of them hold their weapons absolutely perfectly. No looseness whatsoever. Now, before we get too far into this review, let's knock out a few size comparisons first, because I really want to illustrate just how big these guys are, or how little they are, more to the point. So there's the G1 bugs. Now you have to excuse them, they're kind of dusty, a little bit like this channel. Crippling depression aside, really does indicate just how far these toys have come since, what was this, like 86, 88? I don't know. The size difference is immense. These guys are really, really tiny. So let's get rid of the G1s, and we'll bring in, stand still, and we'll bring in Hasbro, was it Generations? I don't know, Bombshell, and then we have Fans Toys Masterpiece Bombshell. So as you can see, these guys are a tiny little package. Now when it comes to the details in this set, I am really, really impressed. Considering the size of these, the details are just fantastic. Even if these were a little bit bigger, the details would still be great. So take a look at Shrapnel first, or as he's known now, Shrapnel. What? That's ridiculous. Looks great. Now, like I said, this is the cartoon color. So we have, instead of purple body plastic, we have grey, grey shins, light grey legs. We have white painted, what you call them, antenna or claws. And then we also have a incredibly well done red visor. Look at that. That is super shiny. Looks great. Pretty well defined nose, pretty well defined mouth. It is very, very small, but it still has enough characteristics so you know who this character is. And I think that looks fantastic. Now, plastic and quality wise, I think he's turned out great. I can only really find one error, and that's right here by his shoulder. I've just got a little bit of flash, which I'll just sorted. A couple of mold lines here on the thighs, and that's it, done. No other sprue marks, no stress marks, nothing. Now when it comes to articulation in bot mode, the head is on I think this one's on a swivel instead of a ball socket. The other ones are all on ball sockets. So we get a full 360 swivel, and it is nice and stiff, so there's not really any issue there. We have ball socket shoulders, which come up all the way like that, and you can rotate the actual shoulder so you can get the arm up. Now, I'm not finding these ball sockets incredibly tight, but they're also not, look, they're not loose, because he's not even moving, but they don't have that stiffness that you usually get. No stress marks in the ball socket, which is great. We also have ball socket elbows. Now, these ones feel a little tiny bit loose, but again, if I give him a good shake, I can't see his elbow moving, and it is the same for the other side. So that's good enough. Ball socket hips, getting us out to there, they're not loose at all either. We do have a upper knee swivel, or upper thigh swivel, I guess you would call that, which is also nice and stiff, and a 90-degree knee bend. That's a hinge, perfect. Ball socket feet, which are stiffer than the other ball sockets on the rest of him. So he is pretty well articulated for his size. They've added a lot of range into his joints, so he is pretty dynamic. Stiffback next. Now, he was my favourite as a kid. I don't know why. He doesn't really say or do much in the cartoon. I just always loved him. Pretty much the same sort of details paint-wise as Shrapnel. Look at that bright metallic visor. That face looks fantastic. Nice silver paint there. Little ears on the top there. They don't move. They're just stuck in one place. Have his wings here. They're painted white. If you want the silver ones, that's the toy colour that you're after. That also has the metallic purple body. A little bit of reflective green paint here. And the chest, again, does open, but just reveals his little bug legs. A couple of bits of yellow paint here on the grey plastic, and that is pretty much it. He tidies up his bot mode perfectly. That is amazing. Now we've got ball socket shoulders, which gets you out to there. Rotate them around, completely unobstructed. Ball socket elbows, again, which are nice and stiff. These arms are much better than Shrapnel's, that's for sure. Ball socket hips, not floppy at all. We have a ball socket knee, which is nice and stiff, so that also gives you a slight rotation at the knee as well. We have ball socket feet, which are just, again, nice and stiff. So the joints overall on this guy are a little bit better than Shrapnel, so pretty happy. I think he's the best. Bombshell next. Now, I've never been a big fan of the cartoon colour with the grey or silver chest and basically the whole thing grey. I prefer the toy, just like that on the fans' toys with the purple chest. And, you know, I prefer the clear chest piece as well, but that's just me. Now, Bombshell, he's a little bit different to the others. There's no purple on him, and on his face, he has just these sort of ruby red eyes, and there's a slight speckle to the grey plastic on his head. There's no silver paint. When it comes to his body, there's silver paint all over his body. Now, his chest section doesn't open. The yellow bit doesn't open on its own. These whole silver pec areas come off as well as part of the transformation. Apart from that, we have a little bit of reflective purple paint there on the shins, and that is a little bit of yellow paint for back detail there. And that's pretty much it. Now, his head is on a ball socket, but it is incredibly stiff, very, very stiff, and I get some down and not really any up, so a little bit limited there in the head. Now, the shoulders are done in an interesting way because we have this sort of triangular detail. This section here is on its own ball socket there, so you can rotate that all the way around, but this triangle section here itself doesn't actually go up and down. You have a hinge inside of it, so you get the arm up there and then move the second hinge. So a little bit of a different way of doing it for legend scale, but it does work. Next, we have the ball socket elbows. Not too bad, a little bit loose, but not overly loose, so pretty average. Same on both sides. Ball socket hips, a little tiny bit loose, but that doesn't really matter too much. No thigh swivel, and we have a ball socket knee, so we get a swivel at the knee. Plus we get over 90 degrees on the knee joint. Now when it comes to the feet themselves don't actually move much. We just get these ball socket toes. With an A stance, they help make it look a little bit better, like that, but the foot still is just sitting on the corner there. Either way, it looks good, and these are, I shouldn't even mention that. That was just a real little nitpick for something so tiny and so well articulated. Alrighty, there they are all done. Now let's just prop up a little bit so we can get a better look. Now when it comes to the official instructions for these things, the instructions aren't as clear as you would hope. Things like with Bombshell, getting these hands pegged in, where these legs peg into the crotch area. But anyway, we'll do Shrapnel first. I like to say they look amazing and fantastic, but really it's just the Insecticon laying down, and that's That's what they are, really, aren't they? They're pretty similar. They transform in basically the exact same way. As like a functioning sort of bug mode, it doesn't look very good. I think they did their best, but he's too long and he's too back heavy, so he's just sort of, he's more resting on his butt. Maybe beetles do that, I don't know. Then under kickback, similar criticisms. He's more sort of resting on his tummy than this one though. These whole front legs, I'm not really buying it. I think they did the best they could, and I like how all this tidies up in bot mode. I can see what they were going for, but I think the legs sort of need to come down more, so he's actually sort of resting on the feet, instead of the feet being more of just like an aesthetic gimmick sort of thing. Now, as you saw in the transformation, I did have this just pop off. See, it's just coming straight off really easy. Not sure what's going on with that. Maybe it's worn off a little bit. I don't know. I do have a little bit of paint rubbing. That one's on there, no worries. Quite happy with that one. That's not coming off at all. Just for some reason, this one popped off. When you push it back in, it's not falling off, and it's in there as far as the other one. It's a shame that the quality overall is so good, and then that one won't stay on. Anyway. And then Bombshell. Now he was probably the most finicky one to transform, because this section here with the hands and just the folding of the legs over and tapping into the crotch area, it wasn't as straightforward as the other ones. The legs sort of want to go forward more, and I was wondering what to do with these pegs, but got there in the end. Now I think he looks pretty good. Same way of transforming as the G1 practically, except for these little fold out legs. Now similar thing with the other ones, that they're not actually sitting on their legs. He's sitting on his little wrist blasters, which look more like wheels now. That would have been better if the blasters went up inside of his leg cavity, and then he would actually be sitting on his feet. One little design nitpick I have, I guess it sort of looks like he's walking. He's pretty limited compared to the other. Well, these two are quite limited in what they can do. I mean, Shrapnel can open and close his pincers if you really want to, but that's pretty much it. I think Kickback's the only one with any real insect articulation. But overall, you know, the bug mode isn't bad. The bug mode's alright. So, final thoughts wise, are they worth it and should you buy them? At $55 US, they are a hard sell. While they are really well done, the engineering is fantastic, the paint apps are great, the accessories a little bit lacking, and the bug mode's not the greatest. For me, the price was just a little bit too high. I got them anyway. I do still feel that the price is a little bit too high for what you get. Honestly though, if that's not a problem for you, I think you're going to be absolutely wrapped in this set. The bot mode articulation is just phenomenal. They've really worked in a lot of joints into these guys, and they're a lot of fun. They are a lot of fun. And even if you don't collect Legends, they do work pretty well with Masterpiece for a little bit of a gag. And after really putting these little guys through their paces over the last week, the price is pretty much all I can find to complain about. When it comes to the current scale of Legends though, I feel like these guys might be a little bit small for a lot of collections. These guys will be no good for your mech fan toys or your hot soldiers or anything. Now if you're looking for somewhere to buy this set, I'd appreciate it if you'd consider ShowZStore.com. I always buy all my stuff through them, and they do a great job at supporting creators like me. And that's it. Now if you enjoyed this video and you like what I'm doing, please like and subscribe to my channel. Then check out my Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Also have the new Facebook private group Total Legends. Head over there and put in a request to join. And as always guys, thank you very much for your time and thanks for watching.